Welcome back to the channel. Rarest coins. Today, we're exploring a coin that millions of people have handled without ever realizing it might hold hidden secrets. The 1966 Washington Quarter. It's a coin from a turbulent era in American coinage, packed with history and surrounded by surprising rumors. You may have seen social media posts claiming that a rare 1966 quarter could be worth as much as $1.7 million. Yes, a single quarter supposedly more valuable than a luxury home, a sports car collection, or even a retirement fund. So, is that true? Could a 1966 quarter really bring in that kind of money? What makes this coin so interesting? And what rare errors from that year actually do have significant value? Today we're going to break down the full story behind the 1966 Washington quarter, its history, its real collector value, the rare mint mistakes that make some pieces valuable, and the truth behind the million-dollar rumor. Get ready for a deep dive into one of the most mysterious quarters of the 1960s. The historical background of the 1966 Washington quarter. To understand the 1966 quarter, we have to step back into the mid-1960s. The United States was facing a nationwide coin shortage. Silver prices were rising rapidly. People were hoarding their coins, and the mint couldn't keep up with the demand. In response, the government made major changes. Beginning in 1965, silver was removed from dimes and quarters, replaced with a copper-nickel-clad mixture. The 1966 quarter is part of the early years of this new composition. That alone makes it an important transition coin. Another major change was the removal of mint marks. From 1965 through 1967, the mint removed all mint marks to discourage hoarding. That means every 1966 quarter looks the same, regardless of where it was made. Because of the coin shortage, production numbers were extremely high. Hundreds of millions of 1966 quarters were struck. This makes the standard 1966 Washington quarter extremely common today, even after decades of circulation. But despite its high mintage, rare mint errors from this era remain highly collectible. Why most 1966 quarters are worth only face with the huge production numbers and the lack of silver mean that most 1966 quarters are worth exactly 25 cents. Even uncirculated examples may only sell for a couple of dollars unless they are in exceptionally high grade. Since there is no silver content, melt value does not affect price. Condition and rarity are the only factors that matter. And that brings us to the exciting part, the errors that slipped into circulation. Rare 1966 quarter errors that are valid despite being a common year. 1966 did produce some unusual and rare mint errors. These are the ones collectors look for: double die errors. If the dies used to strike the coin were incorrectly manufactured, doubling may appear in the lettering or date. Strong doubling can create value. Off-center strikes. If the blank planchet was not positioned correctly, the design may appear shifted. Small off-center strikes bring modest value, but dramatic ones can sell for hundreds. Broad strike errors. These occur when the retaining collar fails and the coin spreads outward, giving it a larger, stretched appearance. These are popular among error collectors. Wrong planchet strikes. Rare and highly valuable. A few 1966 quarters have been discovered struck on dime planchets. These coins are lighter and smaller than normal and can sell for impressive prices. Clip planchets. Curved or straight clips along the rim show where the blank was improperly cut. These can add value depending on size and severity. Double strikes and multi-strikes. Visually dramatic errors where the coin was stamped more than once. These can reach into the hundreds or even thousands depending on the intensity of the error. Struck through errors. Foreign material, such as fabric, grease, or metal fragments, may have been caught during the striking process, leaving unusual imprints on the coin. These are real collectible errors that give 1966 quarters actual premium value. The truth behind the $1.7 million film. Now, let's address the headline-making number everyone talks about. Is there really a 1966 Washington quarter worth $1.7 million? Here's the truth. There has never been a confirmed sale of a 1966 quarter for anything close to $1.7 million. No major auction house has documented it. No grading service has authenticated such a coin, and no public or private sale has ever reached that figure. So why do people talk about it? The number comes from speculation and hypothetical situations. Some online creators estimate what a never-before-seen once-in-history mint error could sell for if it were discovered. These estimates are inspired by other coins that have brought extreme prices due to unique errors or extraordinary conditions. So, while the idea of a 1.7 million $1,966 quarter is not impossible in theory, such a coin has never been found. The number is hypothetical, not historical. Realistic values for 1966 Washington QRS here is what 1966 quarters actually sell for in today's collector market. A circulated 1966 quarter is worth 25 cents, that a clean, uncirculated example might sell for $1 to $3, that a high-grade mint state example, especially MS66 or MS67, may sell for $20 to $100 depending on market demand. A dramatic off-center strike can sell for $50 to $300. A clip planchet can sell for $20 to $100 depending on size. A quarter struck on a dime planchet can bring $200 to $800 or more if in great condition. A strong double strike or multiple strike can bring hundreds or thousands depending on severity. These are real values based on sales documented by collectors and auctions. How to check your 1966 quarter for value. If you have a 1966 quarter, here's how to check if it may be valuable. Examine the lettering carefully for doubling. Look closely at Liberty and In God We Trust. Check the rim. If the rim looks stretched, missing, or uneven, it could be a broad strike or off-center error. Check the weight. A normal 1966 quarter weighs 5.67 grams. If it weighs closer to a dime, you may have a wrong planchet error. Look for missing metal on the rim that might indicate a clip. Inspect both sides of the coin for any unusual impressions, dents, or patterns that appear part of the minting process rather than damaged. If something looks strange or out of the ordinary, consider having the coin authenticated. In a sense, so, can a 1966 Washington quarter really be worth $1.7 million? Not based on any real sale. The average coin is worth face value. But real errors from 1966 can bring hundreds or even thousands of dollars. And while the million-dollar number is based on speculation rather than confirmed discoveries, the thrill of hunting for rare errors keeps collectors searching through their change every day. That's what makes coin collecting so exciting. Even a common coin from a common year could hide a rare mint mistake that turns it into a valuable treasure. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1966 Washington quarter, make sure to like the video, subscribe for more rare coin content, and comment which coin you want me to cover next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. If you want, I can also write a dramatic documentary-style version, a version optimized for a 10 to 12-minute monetized YouTube video, or a short viral script for TikTok and YouTube Shorts. Welcome back to the channel. Rarest coins. Today we're diving into one of the most fascinating coins from the 1960s, the 1967 Washington quarter. This coin is one of the most common quarters ever produced, yet it has become the subject of huge attention online because people are saying that one rare 1967 quarter could be worth as much as $1.8 million. Yes, a single 25-cent coin from the late 60s supposedly worth more than a mansion, more than an exotic car collection, more than most people earn in a lifetime. So how much of that is true? Could a 1967 quarter really be worth that much? What makes this coin special? And which rare errors from that year are actually valuable? Today we're going to explore the complete story behind the 1967 Washington quarter, its history, its real market prices, the rare mistakes that make some examples valuable, and the truth behind the $1.8 million claim. If you love coins, history, and discovering hidden treasures in everyday change, stay tuned. This one is full of surprises. History of the 1967 Washington quarter. To understand the 1967 quarter, you need to know what was happening in the United States Mint during that time. In 1965, America faced a massive coin shortage. Silver prices were rising, coins were being hoarded, and the government needed a solution fast. So in 1965, the United States removed silver from dimes and quarters, replacing it with a copper-nickel-clad composition. The 1967 quarter is part of those early years of change from silver to clad. Because of the coin shortage and the transition, from 1965 through 1967, the mint stopped putting mint marks on coins. That means no coin from 1967 has a D or AP mint mark. All 1967 quarters look the same regardless of where they were struck. To solve the shortage, The mint produced an enormous number of coins in 1967. That makes the standard 1967 Washington quarter extremely common today. Yet some rare errors slipped through, and those are what collectors hunt for. Why the 1967 quarter is usually known since over a billion quarters were struck in 1967. Most examples have no additional value. A typical circulated 1967 quarter is worth 25 cents. Even a clean, uncirculated example may only bring $1 or $2. Unlike earlier quarters, the 1967 quarter contains no silver. It is made of copper and nickel, which means melt value does not affect its price. But even in a year of massive production, mistakes can happen. And in 1967, they did. Rare 1967 quarter errors that are worth a year are the errors that give 1967 quarters real collectible value. Double die errors. Doubling in the lettering, especially Liberty and In God We Trust, can add significant value. The stronger the doubling, the higher the price. Off-center strikes. A slight off-center strike may bring a modest premium, but dramatic shifts can sell for hundreds of dollars if enough of the design is displaced, struck on wrong planchet errors. This is one of the rarest and most valuable types of mistakes. Some 1967 quarters were struck on dime planchets. These coins are smaller and lighter than a normal quarter and can sell for strong prices. Clipped planchets. These errors show a curved or flat missing portion where the blank was improperly cut. These can bring a nice premium depending on size and condition. Double strikes and multi-strikes. These visually dramatic errors, where the coin was hit more than once by the minting press, are extremely collectible. Struck through errors. Sometimes a piece of fabric, metal, or debris was caught between the die and the planchet during striking, leaving an unusual impression on the coin. These errors are the true source of value for 1967 quarters. The truth behind the $1.8 million thing now, for the part everyone wants to know. Is there really a 1967 Washington quarter worth $1.8 million? The truth is this. There has never been a documented sale of a 1967 quarter for anywhere near $1.8 million. No auction house has reported such a sale, no grading service has authenticated such a piece, and no collector has publicly claimed to own one worth that amount. So where does the number come from? It comes from speculation. Some videos and articles claim hypothetical values for extreme mint errors that have never been discovered. If an unheard of, absolutely one-of-a-kind mint error were found on a 1967 quarter, something unbelievably dramatic and historically important, then yes, it might attract million-dollar auctions. But no such coin has ever been found. It is possible only in theory, not in reality. Realistic values for 1967 QRS here are the actual values collectors pay. A typical circulated 1967 quarter is worth 25 cents. A clean uncirculated example may sell for $1 to $3. A high-grade mint state example, especially MS67 or higher, may sell for $20 to $100 depending on quality. A dramatic off-center strike can sell for $50 to $300. A clipped planchet error can range from $20 to $100. A quarter struck on a dime planchet can sell for $200 to $800, and sometimes more if the error is very clear. A strong double strike or multi-strike can reach into the thousands depending on how extreme it is. These are the real-world prices that collectors actually pay. How to check if your 1967 quarter is well, if you have a 1967 quarter. Here are the steps you should follow to identify a valuable one. Check the lettering for doubling, especially Liberty and In God We Trust. Look at the rim. If it looks uneven, stretched, or missing in places, it could be an off-center strike or broad strike. Check the coin's weight. A normal quarter weighs 5.67 grams. If your coin weighs closer to a dime, you may have a wrong planchet error. Examine the edges for clips or portions missing. Look for unusual impressions, dents, or shapes that appear to be part of the design rather than damaged. If anything looks unusual, it may be worth sending to a grading service for authentication. CONCLUSION. So is the 1967 Washington quarter worth $1.8 million? Not in reality. The average one is worth 25 cents. But certain rare errors, especially wrong planchet strikes and dramatic double strikes, can bring hundreds or even thousands of dollars. And while the $1.8 million figure is based on speculation, the possibility of discovering a once-in-history era coin is what keeps collectors searching. That's the excitement of the hobby. Any coin, even from a common year, can become a treasure if the right mistake was made during minting. That if you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1967 Washington quarter, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe for more rare coin videos, and tell me in the comments which coin you want me to cover next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. If you want, I can also write a more dramatic documentary-style version, a shorter version, or a 12-minute monetization-ready YouTube script. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are exploring one of the most talked-about coins among collectors, the 1982 Washington quarter. At first glance, it may seem like an ordinary coin, something you might find in your pocket or in a jar of spare change. But collectors have long been fascinated by rare variations and mint errors that can turn a common coin into a valuable treasure. Some sources even claim that a single 1982 Washington quarter could be worth as much as $1.5 million. That is more than the price of many homes, luxury cars, or a lifetime of savings. In this video, we will uncover the history of the 1982 quarter, discuss why it is usually common, explore the rare errors that can make it extremely valuable, and examine the truth behind this incredible claim. History of the 1982 Washington quarter. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Over the decades, it became a staple of American currency. By 1982, the quarter had been in circulation for 50 years, and millions of coins were minted each year to meet the demands of the public. The 1982 quarter was struck at the Denver Mint, which is represented by the D Mint mark. This quarter is composed of a copper-nickel clad, with no silver content. It features the familiar profile of George Washington on the obverse, and the reverse shows the classic eagle design. Despite its common design, the 1982 quarter has drawn attention from collectors because of certain rare errors and unusual characteristics that can make some examples valuable. Why most 1982 quarters are selling? The vast majority of 1982 quarters are extremely common. Millions were produced, and they were widely circulated, making them easy to find in pockets, cash registers, and coin jars. Most 1982 quarters are worth only face value, 25 cents. Even uncirculated examples generally sell for only a few dollars, unless they are in perfect condition or have an error that makes them rare. Because this coin contains no silver, the melt value is negligible, so collectors focus solely on rarity, condition, and minting errors to determine value. Rare 1982 quarter errors that are volatile. Most 1982 quarters are common. A few rare errors can make certain coins highly desirable to collectors. These errors include double die errors. If the die was misaligned, doubling may appear in the lettering or on George Washington's profile. Coins with strong doubling are highly sought after. Off-center strikes. Sometimes, the coin blank is not properly aligned during striking, leaving part of the design shifted or missing. Dramatic off-center strikes can bring significant value. Clipped planchets. If the metal blank is improperly cut, it can leave curved or straight missing sections along the edge. Larger or unusual clips are more valuable. Wrong planchet strikes. In extremely rare cases, a quarter may have been struck on the wrong size planchet, such as a dime or penny blank. These coins are rare and highly collectible. Double strikes or multi-strikes. Coins struck more than once can display overlapping images. Depending on severity, these errors can fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Struck through errors. Foreign material trapped between the die and coin blank can create unusual impressions, making the coin unique and desirable to collectors. Even though these errors are rare, they are the reason why some 1982 quarters are considered potentially valuable. The truth behind the $1.5 million. Now, let's address the most sensational claim. Could a 1982 Washington quarter really be worth $1.5 million? The truth is that no verified sale of a 1982 quarter has ever reached anywhere near $1.5 million. Auction records and grading services do not show any sales at that level. The figure originates from speculation about a hypothetical coin with a unique or extreme error that could be one of a kind. While it is theoretically possible that a unique 1982 quarter could attract extraordinary attention from collectors. The $1.5 million claim is not based on documented sales. It is largely a hypothetical scenario. Realistic values for 1982D Washington quarters here is what collectors actually pay for 1982D quarters today. Circulated coins are worth 25 cents. Uncirculated examples typically sell for $1 to $3. High-grade mint state coins, such as MS-65 or higher, may sell for $10 to $20 depending on collector interest. That off-center strikes may sell for $50 to several $100 depending on severity. Clip planchets can bring $20 to over $100 depending on size and uniqueness. Wrong planchet strikes, double strikes, or extreme minting errors can bring hundreds or occasionally thousands of dollars. But these coins are exceptionally rare. These are realistic market values based on verified sales and collector interest. How to check if your 1982D quarter is valid. If you think you may have a valuable 1982D quarter, here's what to look for. Examine the lettering carefully for signs of doubling, especially Liberty and In God We Trust. Inspect the rim for gaps, stretching, or unusual shapes. Weigh the coin. A standard quarter weighs 5.67 grams, so any deviation could indicate a wrong planchet error. Check for unusual impressions, dents, or marks that appear to be minting errors rather than circulation damage. If you find a coin with unusual characteristics, have it graded and authenticated by a professional service to verify its rarity. In a sense, so, can a 1982D Washington quarter really be worth $1.5 million? Not according to any verified sale. The vast majority of these coins are worth only face value, and even uncirculated examples rarely exceed a few dollars. However, rare mint errors such as off-center strikes, clipped planchets, wrong planchet coins, or dramatic double strikes can bring hundreds or even thousands of dollars. While the $1.5 million claim is largely hypothetical, the excitement of potentially discovering a rare 1982D quarter keeps collectors searching through old change, coin jars, and collections. If you enjoyed this detailed look at the 1982D Washington quarter, make sure to like the video, subscribe for more coin content, and comment below with the coin you want us to cover next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. If you want, I can also create a cinematic 12-minute version with suspenseful storytelling, countdowns for rare errors, and hooks to keep viewers engaged for the full watch time. Do you want me to create that version? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we are diving into the story of the 1991P Washington quarter. At first glance, it may seem like an ordinary coin, something you might find in your pocket or spare change. But believe it or not, collectors have been buzzing about a rare version of this coin that could be worth as much as $1.4 million. Yes, a single quarter minted in 1991 could potentially be worth more than most people earn in a lifetime. In this video, we are going to explore the full history of the 1991P quarter, what makes it potentially so valuable, and the truth behind these extraordinary claims. We will also talk about what to look for if you think you might have a valuable example in your collection. History of the 1991P Washington quarter. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to honor George Washington on the 200th anniversary of his birth. Over the decades, the coin has become a staple of American currency, celebrated for its consistent design and widespread circulation. By 1991, the Washington quarter had been in circulation for nearly 60 years. The Philadelphia Mint, which is what the P Mint mark stands for, produced hundreds of millions of these coins that year. The 1991P quarter is made of copper-nickel-clad composition with no silver content. Unlike some older quarters, the standard 1991P quarter is extremely common and was designed primarily for everyday transactions. Despite its commonality, certain rare minting errors and anomalies from 1991 have made collectors pay attention to this coin. Some of these mistakes are what give the claim of a $1.4 million value some excitement, even if the reality is more nuanced. Why the 1991P quarter is usually in because the Philadelphia Mint produced such a massive number of these coins. Most 1991P quarters are worth only face value. Circulated coins typically sell for 25 cents. Even uncirculated examples rarely exceed a few dollars unless they are in pristine condition. The coin contains no silver, which means melt value does not add to its price. For most collectors, Condition and rarity are the only things that make a difference. And this is where errors come into play. Rare 1991p quarter errors that are VLE collectors often search for rare mistakes that can make even common coins extremely valuable. Some of the most sought-after 1991p quarter errors include double die errors. If the die used to strike the coin was misaligned, doubling may appear in the lettering or on George Washington's portrait. Strong doubling can significantly increase the value. Off-center strikes. A coin struck slightly off-center may show part of the design shifted. Small shifts might be worth only a few dollars, but dramatic ones can sell for hundreds. Clipped planchets. A clipped planchet occurs when the blank was improperly cut, leaving a curved or straight missing section on the coin. Severe clips can be worth significantly more to collectors, struck on wrong planchet errors. These are rare but highly valuable. A 1991p quarter accidentally struck on a dime or penny planchet would be smaller and lighter than normal and could attract a premium. Double strikes and multi-strikes. When a coin is struck more than once, it creates a visually dramatic error. Depending on severity, these coins can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars struck through errors. Foreign material between the die and planchet can leave unusual impressions, creating coins that are unusual and collectible. It is important to note that these errors are extremely rare. The vast majority of 1991p quarters show no errors and are worth only face value. The truth behind the $1.4 million sum. Now, let's address the most talked about aspect of this coin. Could a 1991p Washington quarter really be worth $1.4 million? The reality is that no verified sale of a 1991p quarter has ever reached anywhere near $1.4 million. Auction houses have not reported a coin of this year selling for that price. The figure is purely speculative, based on hypothetical extreme errors that might never even exist. The number comes from online videos and articles imagining what could happen if someone discovered a one-of-a-kind mint error. While it is technically possible that such a coin could attract extraordinary interest, it is not grounded in documented sales. So while it is fun to imagine a quarter from 1991 being worth more than a house, it remains purely theoretical. Realistic values for 1991p QRS here is what collectors actually pay for 1991p quarters today. Circulated coins are worth 25 cents. Uncirculated coins in good condition sell for $1 to $3. High-grade mint state coins, such as MS65 or higher, may reach $10 to $20 depending on market demand. Off-center strikes can bring $50 to $300. Clipped planchets can range from $20 to $100 depending on size and severity. Struck on wrong planchet errors can sell for hundreds to thousands, especially if clearly identifiable. Double strikes or multi-strikes can bring hundreds or occasionally thousands of dollars. These are real market values based on verified sales and collector interest. How to? Check if your 1991p quarter is VL. If you think you have a potentially valuable 1991p quarter, here are some steps to follow. Examine the lettering closely for doubling, especially Liberty and In God We Trust. Check the rim for any stretching, missing sections, or unusual shapes. Weigh the coin. A normal quarter weighs 5.67 grams. Any deviation could indicate a wrong planchet error. Look for clipped sections along the edge or unusual impressions on the surface. If you notice anything unusual, consider having the coin graded and authenticated by a professional service. And so, is the 1991p Washington quarter really worth $1.4 million? Not according to any verified record. The average coin is worth face value, and even uncirculated examples usually bring only a few dollars. However, rare mint errors like off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or wrong planchet coins can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. The excitement of collecting quarters like the 1991p lies in the possibility that one day, someone might discover a truly unique coin. That is the thrill that keeps collectors examining every coin in their change. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1991p Washington quarter, make sure to like the video, subscribe for more rare coin content, and comment below with the coin you want us to cover next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. If you want, I can create a dramatic, story-driven 12-minute version designed for maximum viewer retention and monetization, complete with hooks and countdowns for suspense. Do you want me to do that?